In a world which is dominated by smartphones, tablets, and encrypted apps, who would ever imagine that an old and outdated pager could shake the balance of power in the Middle East? But in early 2024, that is exactly what happened. Today, we will uncover the inside story of how Israel's bulky pager fooled Hezbollah, the ingenious design behind it, the shadow companies that made it possible, and what this means for the future warfare. Hezbollah, one of the most formidable groups operating in Lebanon, had believed it was outsmarting Israeli surveillance by going back in time by ditching modern devices and using pagers instead. What they did not know was that those very pagers had been turned into weapons. Hidden inside those bulky batteries were wafer-thin explosives and an almost invisible detonator. When triggered, these devices transformed from harmless communication tools into deadly bombs. This was not a random accident. It was a meticulously crafted Israeli intelligence operation, one that combined deception, technology, and psychological warfare. To understand why this operation stunned the world, you have to appreciate the design of the pager itself. At first glance, it looked clunky and almost cheap, but that appearance was part of the disguise. The battery was the key. To Hezbollah operatives, it seemed like a standard lithium-ion battery, nothing different from what powers a child's toy or a medical device. But Israeli engineers had secretly embedded wafer-thin sheets of explosives combined with a detonator so tiny and well hidden that even trained eyes could not spot it. The pager's bulk was not an accident. It was intentional. That extra size gave room for the hidden modifications while still making the device look outdated enough to seem harmless. This is what made the weapon brilliant. It did not just function as a bomb, it also looked boring. And in the end, boring is the ultimate camouflage. The pager plot did not appear out of nowhere. Months before, Hezbollah had faced mysterious malfunctions with their walkie-talkies. In several cases, the radios they depended on for field communications suddenly exploded. At first, Hezbollah thought it was sabotage from inside their own ranks. Later, evidence suggested Israel's involvement. These walkie-talkie incidents were just a rehearsal for a smaller experiment in turning communications equipment into weapons. By the time the pager plan rolled out, Mossad and Israel's military intelligence already had experience proving that enemies could be taken down not by rockets or drones, but by their own tools of communication. Israel's intelligence service, Mossad, and military intelligence have a long history of using technology as a weapon. From Stuxnet, the computer virus that crippled Iran's nuclear plans, to advanced surveillance drones, Israel has shown again and again that war is not only fought on the battlefield. The pager attack was part of this tradition. Instead of planting bombs or carrying out open strikes, Israel re-engineered a simple object into a lethal device. It was a silent reminder that Mossad's greatest strength is turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. For Hezbollah, the realization was devastating. If Israel could weaponize something as basic as a pager, then what else in their arsenal might be compromised? But why pagers in the first place? The answer lies in Hezbollah's fear of Israeli cyber surveillance. Smartphones and encrypted apps might seem secure, but groups like Hezbollah knew Israel had the capacity to monitor, infiltrate, and track their digital devices. By reverting to pagers which operate on simple radio frequencies, Hezbollah believed it was stepping outside Israel's reach. The irony could not be sharper anymore. By stepping back into the past, Hezbollah thought it was outsmarting Mossad, but instead, it walked straight into the trap. This is where the operation takes a truly shadowy turn. How did these pagers get into Hezbollah's hands? The answer is simple: the shell companies. Two names surfaced in investigations: the BAC and Apollo Systems. On paper, they looked legitimate, offering electronics and communications devices like any other supplier. But in reality, these were fronts that carefully constructed layers of deception. The brilliance was not just in building the bomb, it was in building the story. Fake paperwork, fake distributors, and fake supply chains created the illusion that these devices were sourced legitimately. For Hezbollah, this was convincing enough. They believed they had found a secure alternative supplier far from the reach of Israeli influence. If you think this was just about delivering devices, just think again. Mossad went further. The pagers were accompanied by brochures, technical sheets, and even support lines. It was as if they came from a professional manufacturer. This marketing ploy reinforced the illusion. Hezbollah operatives did not feel like they were smuggling suspicious equipment. Rather, they felt like customers buying professional gear. It is psychological warfare at its finest. When your enemy believes believes they have chosen the weapon themselves, suspicion vanishes. Mossad did not just sell Hezbollah a pager, they sold them a sense of confidence, a kind confidence that turned into disaster. When the explosions were reported, Israel was predictably silent. The spokespeople of the government did not confirm or deny responsibility. Instead, they simply reiterated Israel's right to defend itself against threats from Hezbollah. This cryptic response was part of the strategy. By not admitting direct involvement, Israel avoided international backlash while still sending a clear message that they can strike you anywhere, even through the tools you trust most. One of the most intriguing twists came when reports surfaced about a Bulgarian link. Some of the components for the pagers had allegedly passed through Eastern Europe, disguising their true origins. This widened the scope of the story dramatically. It suggested that Mossad's operation was global and not local. Supply chains, shipping networks, and foreign companies were all unknowingly part of the illusion. For Hezbollah, this was deeply unsettling. If Israel could plant devices through suppliers as far away as Bulgaria, then no international source could be trusted. When Hezbollah realized what had happened, leaders rushed to condemn Israel. Publicly, they declared this an act of aggression and a violation of norms. Privately, however, the group was shaken. Trust had been shattered. Suddenly, every device from a simple radio to a laptop was suspected. Could it be bugged? Could it explode? Could Mossad be watching through hidden circuits? The psychological toll was massive. Israel, sensing Hezbollah's vulnerability, quickly followed up. Military strikes against Hezbollah positions intensified in the weeks after the pager explosions. By destabilizing Hezbollah's trust in its own gear, Israel had created an opening, and they exploited it. The brilliance of the operation was not just in the explosions themselves, it was in the chaos they left behind. Hezbollah operatives no longer felt safe using their own tools, and in warfare, hesitation can be deadlier than any bullet. The story of the weaponized pager is a glimpse into the future of covert warfare. It shows us that war is not only fought with tanks, missiles, or drones. It can be fought with ideas, deception, and a deep understanding of psychology. For Hezbollah, the lesson was bitter. Their attempt to protect themselves by going low-tech has actually backfired them. For Israel, it was another victory in the Long Shadow War, a reminder that intelligence can be as devastating as firepower. But for the rest of the world, it raises chilling questions. If a pager can be turned into a bomb, what about other devices? What about medical equipment, children's toys, or even the phones in our pockets? The battlefield is no longer just the front lines. It is everywhere and in everything. This is the unsettling truth of modern warfare. The most dangerous weapon is often the one you never see coming. What do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to our channel for more similar contents. Thanks for watching,